Hello YouTube, this is Logan Film Studios with LEGO Transformers Time Warp. So here is Time Warp in his vehicle mode, and you guys know what this is. This is the DeLorean from Back to the Future. So I'm sure you guys have seen a bunch of LEGO Transformer DeLoreans around the internet right now. And that is because it is a challenge that me and a bunch of other LEGO Transformer builders were doing, called the Allspark Assembly. And basically that is where every other month we're going to choose a really cool Transformer to build, and we're all going to build them. And it's a really cool challenge. Everyone else has made some really nice Transformers, and I put the links to their Transformers in the description, so I encourage you to check them out, and I encourage you to participate in the challenge. If you want to build your own DeLorean, then go right ahead. So anyway, here's the DeLorean. It's pretty big scale. It's actually minifigure scale. So yeah, you can fit a minifigure inside of this, and I'll show that off later. I do have the actual idea set, so this has all the really cool printed details on it, like the license plate back here, and if you look inside right there, the flux capacitor is in there, and there's also the dashboard that shows what time you're in. That's inside. I do have all the technical detail in here, like the tubing that goes all the way across. I did that with bars, and there's a tooth piece right here for the angle, and a droid arm back here, and that works really nicely. It all looks like it connects. And then for this section I just used a bunch of white pieces, and you saw earlier in the intro that this was blue, and that is because I did make light blue copies of all those parts to look like it's going back in time, because in the movie when it goes back in time all these white parts actually turn blue. So yeah, that's pretty cool. You can see there's not a lot of studs on this. I try to keep it very, very clean, and I think that paid off. It made it look really nice. You can see he's got the headlights here, tail lights here. This yellow bit is supposed to be kind of like a little bit of wiring, because I decided to keep that accurate. It kind of doesn't really fit with the color scheme, but in the movie this wiring bit is kind of yellow, and I think there's a little bit of red there too, but I couldn't fit that. So yeah. Also, you can see he's got the engine or coolant or whatever these, I don't know what these are. There's kind of a big gap here. There should be a bunch of wires and stuff here, and I tried my best, but I couldn't get all of that to fit, so I just tried to approximate that with some grill pieces. The doors do open, but since I use the actual windshield instead of a fake windshield, this bit doesn't come with the doors, and the windshield, no, the side view mirrors don't come with the doors either. So let's do that to either side. They basically rotate on stud friction with this part right here. The whole door is attached to this maxi fig hand, and it opens just like that. To get a figure inside, it's kind of difficult, so I guess I'll try that now. You want to open the doors and break the windshield open. And here's a perfect time to actually show you the inside. You can see there's a little control panel detail here, the dashboard here, and there's actually a steering wheel right here. So to get the figure in, kind of have to get everything to align just right. And here it is with Marty Mcfly inside, and it's pretty cool to see a minifigure inside there. There actually is some gaps right here that you can see from the outside, but other than that, it's pretty cool. But it's just kind of hard to get him inside. It's a very, very, very tight fit. But yeah, you can see he's kind of able to hold the steering wheel a little bit. To the best extent I could, I guess. I tried to get that to happen, but I mean, it's Legos, so their arms don't really move that well. So for special features, I did actually make a Mr. Fusion from the second movie. So this can just tab into the two studs here, like that. And then you can replace the license plate with this license plate from the second movie, and now you have the DeLorean from the future. So that's pretty cool. And as a cool feature, I actually made it so that you can fold down the wheels to make the flight mode. The wheels are actually on a double hinge, and that's just for transformation, but you only want to fold them down on just one axis of motion. And now already the minifigure's causing problems again. But yeah, here it is flying with the wheels folded down, so that's pretty cool. And the last accessory that I made for this is the hook that it has in the first movie, in the finale when it's trying to get back to the future. So this, just like the Mr. Fusion, can tab on to those two studs in the back, right here, and there it is. And this actually looks better with the blue pieces on, so let me just switch real quick. And here we go. Now we have the DeLorean going back to the future. Now before we get to transformation, there's a few other quick things I wanted to mention about the vehicle mode. First of all, it rolls. I forgot to mention this earlier, but it's pretty cool. I haven't actually done an Earth vehicle that rolls, I don't think. So this is a first for me. And the other really cool thing is, due to transformation and how the way things ended up attaching, there's like a really cool feature that this has where you can fold out these sections behind the front wheels, and they can become like hidden laser guns or missiles or something on either side of the car, and I thought that was pretty cool. It's kind of random. It's not in the movie, but I don't know, I accidentally stumbled across this feature and I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah, without further ado, let's get to transformation. So here is Time Warp in robot mode, and as you can see, he is really tall. This is probably one of my tallest Transformers to date. For comparison, here he is with a minifigure, and you can see the minifigure doesn't even come up to the knee. It's not even close. So yeah. This thing is really cool in my opinion. There's a lot of the color scheme is like really cool. How the white kind of like spreads out around everywhere, and in robot mode you can see there's like some black stripes that kind of divide up the gray of the car. I love how if you just look at it from the front, you can't really see any of the wheels. You can kind of see the ones on the back, but looking at it just from the front, you can see that it's mostly just robot. It's kind of like G1, how the wheels just kind of disappear, and I think that's pretty cool. I also like how the wires divided up everywhere. Like you have a bit on the shoulder that kind of points out, kind of like Optimus Prime's smokestack, but then you have this bit on his arm. He doesn't really have any hands, but I think that's okay, because this little bit on his arm kind of looks like a fist, in my opinion. So yeah, and as you can see, this just displays how insane the leg transformation is, as the flux capacitor ends up on the side of his leg, whereas before it was kind of like here, behind where the seat was, and that's just a really crazy bit of transformation. You can see on the back, he does have the little bit of yellow that I was talking about from this piece that kind of just shows the wire. So that kind of breaks up the color scheme. It doesn't really fit all that well, but I think it's okay. He doesn't really have any backpack. He has the windshield back here, but it kind of forms like this really cool section on his body. I don't really consider it a backpack. And you can see you have the missiles here. You can fold these up, just like in the vehicle mode. You can fold up the missiles, and they're very posable, so you can kind of move them anywhere. But it's kind of a cool ability for him to have like missiles that come out. So yeah, that's the thing. You can see I really like how the engine bits, these big black boxes, become his feet. I think a couple other people did that, and it's just a really cool detail. So let's get to articulation. For articulation, there is a ball joint at the head here, but also a Technic joint that goes up and down here. There's a rotation forward and back on stud friction there, but also a maxi-fig hand in there, so that's a ball joint here. This T-joint here allows for this to go forward and back and rotate, and then there's a clip joint that allows for the elbow to bend. For the legs, there's a Technic ball joint right here, and then he also has a ball joint. The foot can kind of go forward and back a little bit, and so can the heel spur. For weapons, Time Warp has this standard rifle that can tab into either hand, so that's pretty cool. But a cool feature of this is that you can take out the front barrel and actually plug in the Mr. Fusion from the second movie, and now you have integration for that weapon. So yeah, I like to think of this as a bigger or more powerful gun when this is attached. Probably more, I guess, energy efficient. So yeah. Also, the hook from the first movie can actually bend in two places here, and then these two jumper plates can tab into the side of the hand, and this becomes like some kind of hook slash like scythe weapon, which is really cool. and it has a lot of articulation, like you can move the joints here and you can rotate it and rotate it each on these individual joints to do cool poses. So yeah, that's it for accessories. And one last thing I wanted to show off in robot mode is how it looks with the blue pieces attached. I like to think of this as kind of a power-up in robot mode. So I like to add these 3 extra blue tiles on the waist and the legs, because the blue in robot mode is actually mostly on the side of the leg and just this section right here, so I wanted to add more to the front. So yeah, this is pretty cool, and I like to pose it up using one of its weapons, one in this super-powered mode. That's about it for Time Warp. Be sure to check out everyone else's Delorean builds from the Allspark Assembly Challenge. I have the links to their channels in the video description below, and be sure to check out my other Transformers on my channel. I'll see you guys next time with my next LEGO Transformer.